This is Butter Princess Part 2. Ring 3. A little bit of time passes. The security manages to get the animals under control. EMTs or coroners, as needed, get the mauled, pecked, gored, rended patrons off of the asphalt so that the day can continue. There's no reason why that should slow us down. It's getting to be fairly late in the afternoon, and the four of you have managed to wander back together. It's almost time for the grandstand stage concert. Every year they have a big act that comes and, is the headline kind of thing, and that's coming up pretty soon. A question for Gordon. Who is the big act this year? And it can be a real band or a fake band. It's up to you.
It is Old Play, which is a Coldplay like seniors. It's seniors group from the local
Seniors cover band
home.
of Coldplay.
Yes, it's really wonderful. It's really sweet. It's inspirational. Everyone, this is their third year headlining. Everyone really loves it.
I love it. The day wears on. The smell of manure is even more pronounced in the air than it was before. Food no longer provides any pleasure. It has a heaviness now that sits with you and doesn't leave. The crowds have grown very, very thick again. There are whispers that this must be a day of record-breaking attendance. That's with the people who were injured or mauled by the animals, too. One by one, the Butter Princess sculptures are being revealed in the dairy building, but the best of the 12, the real Butter Princess, won't be declared until later. But you can see inside the large enclosure these glass refrigerator-like chambers with the butter sculptures being placed in them. The Butter Princess this year is nigh. Vu, at a certain point, you feel a child holding your hand. What do you do?
Ooh. So remember, I have at home 2 children that I am convinced are not yet human enough to be revealed to the world, that they're like baby butter golems also. So with that in mind, I'm, my oily hand is holding this child's hand, and I look down and I say, my God, you're convincing. I think if I took you home, you could teach my children how to represent the facade to pass among the humans.
And the child says, "Are you my daddy?"
I am now.
Very good.
Going to jail for kidnapping real soon.
Maybe. Feels like the least problematic thing that's happened so far this day. Henry, a very pushy vendor, is insisting you buy something. What do they offer you that repulses you?
To be repulsed, it's got to be something that's just way too mundane for what he's looking for in the experience he's having here. So I think it's just a bowl of mashed potatoes and gravy, but like been left out a little long. It's street mashed potatoes. It's no, and it wouldn't do numbers on Instagram.
Fantastic. The seed art exhibits are being wheeled out and placed all around the sort of central grandstand area, almost as a sort of like they're being placed there almost like icons in a temple. Angie, describe a seed art that reminds you of your drive.
Last year's Butter Princess was quite the upstart, and nobody thought that she would win. And she became kind of a folk hero amongst those of us at the fair. And so this year they commemorated her in seed form. And now I am reminded that I must claim that last Butter Princess sculpture. That block of butter has to be mine because I have a very eager collector.
An old woman staring at the Butter Princess seed art says, "That poor girl was run over by a car earlier this year. But thanks to this, she'll live forever. Live forever in seeds."
It really is a wonderful way to give her new life once more.
Vu, what the history of Minnesota is illustrated in the seed art as well. What horrible cultural underbelly is revealed by the exhibit?
All right, I'm blanking on his real name, but there was an Indian agent who starved the Dakota, and when his body was found in real life, his mouth was stuffed full of grass because he had said to them, "Let them eat grass," sort of like "let them eat cake," if you will. There is a absolutely gorgeous depiction of this person with their mouth agape, and somehow, almost like a chia pet, they've fertilized the grass seeds, so they're truly growing. Even though most seed art is dried seeds, this one has like green, resplendent growth coming out of this mouth of this former Indian agent.
Thank you. There is, Henry, a social media influencer that you recognize approaching. They actually have a team with them taking videos. They have a very, very impressive 500,000 followers on Insta. And the team surrounds you, and the influencer steps up to you and he says, "Here we go. Here's a regular guy from Minnesota. Here, say hi to the internet, friend."
What's up, internet? It's your boy, Albino Peacock.
Who is this guy? What's he known for?
I think this is Pinja. He's he's mostly a game streamer, but he's also getting into the variety game, doing interviews and just hangouts.
He says, "So, what are you looking forward to here at the Minnesota State Fair?"
Well, I'm looking forward to it's. I can't say too much, man, but it is going to be the sickest prank YouTube's seen in years. Just saying.
And they're like, and they're like, they're kind of like looking at each other, and it's like, and he kind of cuts the recording, and he says, wait. We were getting ready to pull a sick prank. And that's when you realize that there's a guy with a bucket of milk behind you. And he says, what's your sick prank?
Well, I mean, I don't want to say unless, we could collab.
He's like, yeah, we could do a collab. Okay. I tell you what, in exchange for putting the prank on my channel, I will give your channel a shout out.
Yes. Yes, that is yes. Okay, so you see the butter princesses?
He's like,
The-
oh yeah, that's pretty weird.
it totally. But I'm gonna take the one that wins on the electric viper.
And I think that he kind of like gives you a very satisfied nod and he's like, sick. He's like, all right. He's like, yes, we'll do this. Angie, you're currently at Ruin 5. You are about to be lost to the state fair. You can reduce, you're now entitled to the reduction roll. You can get a reduction roll and lower your ruin by saying how you betray or otherwise undermine your fellow princess seekers, your fellow butter questers.
So while we were stopping off for corn dogs and eating food, and I picked up a couple of little tchotchkes. I have this little state fair key fob that I didn't get last year's because it's really difficult for me to scrape together enough money to buy stuff here at the fair. Everything's so expensive. But while we were wandering around and eating, perhaps I would have also been contacted by some other cheese cultists, having found out that I was freely giving my own little baby bells in my secret stash. And through that have convinced them to help me block and interfere with the other questers.
Good, I like it. Let's see if anyone noticed you conferring with the cheese cultists. Roll reduction. And the text on the die roller is still wrong. Your ruin goes down automatically. You're just rolling to see if the others notice you. Your ruin does go down and no one knows about your betrayal.
Whispering cheesy secrets.
Absolutely. In fact, it's getting ready to be, well, the concert's coming, not quite yet, but everyone's there's still a little bit of time to kill. The little child who thinks you're their father, Vu, he says, look, Daddy, they're riding electric bulls over there. And you do see they have a pair of electric bulls. And there are people, and you go up in twos, and whoever lasts the longest on electric bull wins a prize. And the prizes are various knockoff Sonic the Hedgehog stuffed animals, oversized. Like it's not Sonic, it's like Sunic or that sort of thing, right? And the little boy takes your hand, and he also takes your hand, Gordon, because you're there. And he says, ride the electric bull, ride the electric bull, ride the electric bull. Sonic, exactly. What do the two of you do?
I am absolutely thrilled to finally have a child out in public with me and say, let's go do it together. By the way, what's your name?
He says, you can call me whatever you want. I'm your child now.
Ooh. Pat, as in butter pat.
Very good. Gordon, are you going to go ride the electric bull as well?
Sure, why not? Nothing could go wrong, right?
Definitely not. As you approach
Mhm.
the little man who's running the electric bull thing, he says, "Now we have a special prize this round. We're all out of the Zonic plushies. Sorry, kids. Instead, the winner of this round gets to have a meeting face to face with the Butter Princess, the soon to be crowned Butter Princess." Everyone's like, ooh, hubbub, hubbub, ooh.
Mhm.
I lean down to Pat. Pat, we are going to win this.
It's like, yes, Daddy, I believe that's true. And so now the stakes, Gordon and Vu, are you get a face-to-face meeting with the Butter Princess if you win.
Mm.
It just comes down to how bad do you want to win.
Mhm.
There will be a contest roll to determine who is the winner. Contest rolls, of course, are pretty dangerous mechanically. We'll come back to this in a moment. Angie, what are you doing right now?
I have been slowly going through each exhibit and then picking up all of the free things that they're handing out at like the radio booth has this and I haven't actually gone to the game section where you can like throw the balls and try to win a goldfish. That's always a fun time. And just slowly collecting. My bag is getting a little bit fuller of all of this free cheesed themed merchandise.
Love it. Henry, you have a little posse here now. Pinja says, "So what's your plan for snatching this butter statue? I mean, look, there's like 11 more right there. Why can't we just get one of those?"
It won't have the effect. It just needs to be the winner.
I can't even tell the difference. They're just blobs of vaguely woman-shaped butter.
Yeah, okay, maybe, if I can't get the winner, maybe no one's gonna know the difference. Backup plan, good idea. But it'd be better if it's the winner, right? Like, just think of it.
The winner is whoever we say it is, man. We're the influencers. We control the narrative. Flood the zone.
Whoa. You are so right. Totally right. Yes. So I have this poncho in my bag. I figure I'll dress one up, put my arm around it, make like, she's my girlfriend, keep the hood down, and then get a seat, get my camera ready. And when we roll, just let those sweet likes come right in.
At this point, you're approached by a group of people wearing golden robes and hoods, buttery yellow robes and hoods. They approach and they encircle your little group. And they say, "Have you yet received the communion of the curd?" And Pinja's like, "No, come with us." And Pinja and his group are going to get pulled away by the cheese cult unless you do something to stop them.
I mean, I'm going with.
Or you're going with. Okay, very good. They take you away. We'll get to what happens there in a bit. Vu and Gordon, you were getting up on the electric bulls. This is the contest roll. The way the contest roll works is you take one light die if the contest is something you are skilled at because of your occupation or background. You only get one light die even if multiple skills apply. You take another light die for each point of ruin you currently have. And so that would be your light dice. Then you take a dark die if the contest itself is inherently deadly or dangerous. Yes, you could be thrown off the bull and injured quite badly. And then you take as many extra dark dice as you are willing to risk. You count all the sixes that you roll. Whoever has the most sixes wins the contest. In the case of a tie, you count fives and fours and so forth. Each dark die that comes up a 1 increases your ruin by 1. So that's the danger. And Pat says, Daddy, I want you to meet the Butter Princess. I really want this for you.
Pat, you don't know it yet, but the Butter Princess is your mom. I'm doing this for you. And I hop up on this mechanical bull.
A brand new daddy and a brand new mommy in one day. I'm the luckiest boy in the world. Gordon, I assume you climb up on the bull.
Yeah. Before I do, I'm kind of like tampering with the electronics a little bit. Trying to see if I can make it like a little bit like gentler.
I like that. Do you have a skill that would be helpful there? Oh, we have electronics.
Yes, it's called electronics.
I think that'll almost certainly justify your light die. What about you, Vu? Do you have a skill that would justify your light die?
Mechanics. I know how these things are built to rock.
Are you both tampering with the bulls prior to getting on the bulls? I think the MC is like, gentlemen, I assure you that there's no need to tweak these bad boys for power. They are rearing and ready to go, and they've been checked many times. They don't need any more handling, but nevertheless, I assume you're still going in there and fiddling. One of you mechanics.
Just want to make sure it's strong enough.
Right. There are safety risks. These things do not get maintained in the way they should be. And trust me, I'm a mechanic. I'll show my little mechanic badge and little thing that says VU.
Indeed. I love it. You both have a light die. And then you both get 4 more light dice because of ruin 5 or ruin 4. So you're up to 5 light dice. You each get a dark die. And now it comes down to how many dark dice extra do you want to risk. You're both currently at 5 light, 1 dark. And remember, you're looking for the most number of 6s. But for every dark that comes up a 1, your ruin goes up.
I'm going to throw in 2 more dark dice, 1 for Pat, 1 for the Butter Princess.
Wow.
So that's a 5 light, 3 dark.
I'm going with 5-2.
Very good. And whenever you're ready, just roll a risk 5-3 or 5-2. Okay. So it is 1-6 for Gordon and 2 6s for Vu. Vu, you are the winner of the bull riding. Please describe it.
They always start out a little slow, kind of a tunk to tunk. They got to give the audience at least a few seconds before they just try to throw somebody off. But when they start doing the left and right hip shimmies, that's where my kind of oily nature kicks in, because like my hips are built to slide around that butter, and I've just got like a perfect centrifugal. Like my torso is immune to the shape or the jostling of this bull. Some people think that I'm just sweating profusely as the leather saddle starts to soak in and drip oil. But there's just no way this mechanical beast is gonna throw me. And I'm there like with my little kind of canvas mechanic hat, and I'm like, it's for the Butter Princess. And then I'm like, Pat, watch what your daddy's doing. Picking up a weird Southern accent that I didn't have.
Pat screams, Daddy, I love you so much. Gordon, please narrate your loss.
So I'm an expert in musical equipment, not so much pistons and hydraulics. And so I think that I get my wires a little bit tangled in the tampering. And this thing is going wild. It is just, it's remarkable that I'm even able to stay on for the 10 seconds that I am. It is just going everywhere. I'm probably concussed. And at some point, just like it slows down very abruptly. And I look around, it's like, okay, maybe what I did worked. This is gonna, and then boom, like just like full force. And I go flying 10 feet into the air, fall back down, straight onto the thing, flap. And everyone hears like the crack. Probably isn't as bad as it sounds, but flop over onto into the pit.
I love it. Thank you. We'll come back to give you your prize later, Vu. Angie, there's currently an auction going on for various, little. Hold on, go back to that part of the text. Collectibles auction. Various little doodads and gewgaws and tchotchkes, and you might win a couple of things. What do you win?
Being the frugal ticket holder I am, I went around and put like silent auction style. I wrote my name for 5 cents on every page that didn't have any other signatures. And so I end up with like a water bottle and a cheese hat, like triangle shaped cheese hat. And I think a group of like too many tote bags. It's like I also got 5 other tote bags that were just from this radio station or the Minnesota Arboretum or just like that sort of thing. Screen printed, probably a little bit crooked.
Love it. The final auction, the auctioneer says, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we have something very, very special for you here today. And we'll be concluding this auction with this beautiful crystal tiara. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, this crystal tiara, if you win this auction, you will not be going home with this little beauty, but instead, you will have the right to go and crown this year's Butter Princess. And Angie, this could be your chance to get close to the Butter Princess by winning this crown. Will you try to bid for it? It'll be a risk roll if you do. You're muted.
Could I, because I am very low on funds and I don't know if I would be able to actually procure enough money to bid the winning bid, could I instead go to the person who does win and convince them to trade me for something else? Could I use like appraisal? Oh no, it's not worth it. It's just such a hassle. You'll be there for 3 hours while they wait, and
I think that's good.
kind of talk them out of it.
Yeah, I think that's good. We'll come back to that. Meanwhile, Henry, the cheese cult takes you all back to what appears to be a very, very poorly lit barn. And Pinja, they turn on the like night scope, so then the camera, you can see like everybody roaming around, sort of like green, thing. And Pinja says over your shoulder, "This is so weird. What do you think we're doing here?"
I don't know, but think of it like it's like an expose. We're basically reporters now.
It's like, this is crazy. This is some sick shit. And then you hear the rolling up of a heavy metal grate, or like a gate. And the cheese cultists say, "Please, this way." And they begin leading Pinja's crew up a metal ramp into what appears on the camera to be like a truck, like a you would transport cows and horses in, right? And the crew is being loaded up. And there's a cheese cultist standing there next to you, guiding you all up into the truck. What do, Henry?
Oh no, I'm not with them. I'm just I'm here to film this, you know?
Silence.
Yeah, no, is this like some like live experience? Like
We will
like that haunted
present
housing?
the butter princesses. The butter maidens and the butter princess will be presented with cheese knaves and a cheese prince.
Ooh, right. Okay. Can I help with that?
Are you worthy?
Yeah,
Are you?
yeah, I'm worthy.
But are ye a knave or are ye a prince?
A prince. I mean, yeah, prince.
Pinja says, "I'm totally a prince. I have over 500,000 followers on Insta, and no one's even heard of Albino Peacock."
Silence, knave.
So this is it. It's a risk roll to be the cheese prince or a cheese knave. The cultist says, "I must warn you. You will not like what happens to the cheese knaves."
Oh well, if I'm the prince, I'm like in charge of that, right?
Risk roll.
Um,
Brian, Mike, Sarah. What could go wrong here?
I'm sorry, I'm still stuck on bad things happening to the cheese knaves.
The embarrassment is all live streamed, and it's been picked up by MSNBC as well for some reason. So it's broadcasting to everyone because everyone watches MSNBC.
The truck these cheese knaves are being loaded into, you will be loaded into also and assigned cheese knave duty. And what's happened this year is the refrigeration unit has broken down, and there is just a ton of melted butter everywhere. And you're going to be coming out of this with a condition like butter slicked.
I think not only could you lose likes, but you lose enough likes that you have half of your followers after failing this.
Yeah, I was going to say something like
Like
that. You
20
become like
people.
some horrible viral meme. The cheese knave. Let's talk about dice. So what's your relevant skill here?
I'm hoping narcissism will
Very
help.
good. Yeah, it's good. Okay, great. You've got a light die and devil's bargains. My devil's bargain is going to be, no matter what, the cheese prince literally marries the butter princess.
No matter what, you do become a meme, and a screenshot of you just like stepping on a piece of cheese and then falling like a free taco.
When you presumably encounter the butter princess in perhaps ring 5, she will recognize you from this moment. She's watched it. She's seen what happened to you. She's seen your humiliation.
I think I mean, is there anything real? Is becoming a meme ever bad publicity? Like that seems a shortcut to immortality. I'm into becoming a meme.
The only other way is to have your likeness done in seed art. So
There we go.
Good. All right. And I don't think it's necessarily a dark die to start. So go ahead and roll. Unless you're using a feat of hubris.
Ooh.
You have sales.
I do let someone have my way.
Yeah, you could do it.
So I think I'll toss that on.
All right, risk 2-1.
It's a
All
5.
right, it's a 5. That's a success. The complication is going to be that you are the cheese prince, but the cheese knaves each get an opportunity to try to dethrone you.
All right.
Violently if need be. Or you can add a dark die and roll again.
Oh. Yeah, things have been going too well for Henry.
Hey, there you go. 6 dark. Your ruin goes up, but it's a full success. You are going to be the cheese prince. Think about that scene, and we'll come back to it in a moment. Angie, there is a fellow who is very large, beetle-shaped, quite sweaty, and he's holding the crown. And he's like, I get to crown the butter princess. I get to crown the butter princess. And he's practically wobbling back and forth. What do you do?
Oh, you bid. I understand. I'm so sorry. Last year, a friend of mine crowned the butter princess, and she said that she had to wait out in the hot sun for hours while the princesses were in their cool air conditioning with their parkas. She just had to stand there and sweat, and it was just a really long inconvenience for not a lot of reward.
He's like, but I paid money for this opportunity.
No, 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 you paid money for this opportunity.
Yes, but what are you suggesting?
Why would you? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. It's such an, like, the opportunity is moments. You put the crown on her head and they hustle you right off the stage, and it's going to be, is $7 really worth 4 hours of your time?
That's pretty good. All right, you can roll down. What could go wrong, everybody?
It absolutely is worth 4 hours of their time.
There's been an elaborate bait and switch. This person has a replica crown that was with them the whole time. They were like trying to confirm that that crown matches their replica, and they're gonna, be like, "Oh yeah, you can have the crown."
I think that. Oh, go ahead, Mike.
Well, I was going to say, and similarly, it's that crown is for like one of the runners up. It's not for the butter princess, and there's some fine print that it's like butter princess runner up. It's
Butter
like,
princess
and
in
every
waiting.
time they were saying it, it was just kind of like, you get to crown the butter princess runner up.
That's pretty good. I don't have anything better than that. All right, let's roll. Or let's get dice. So I'll give you appraisal. Devil's bargain. My devil's bargain is going to be I think no matter what, you are going to come back to me. Hold on. I want to think about mine for a bit.
What was the name of that security guard? Do we have a name for them?
I don't remember. Any other or any at all devil's bargains?
I've got an idea, but I need to like make it be so it doesn't interrupt a success. So the devil's bargain that I'm trying to word here is that a rival tchotchke buff sees you two negotiating and sort of dives into the negotiation, and yet you still have to be able to succeed. And so I don't quite know what my devil's bargain is. The tchotchke buff is tailing you down the street, yelling how you stole the crown from her or something.
Yeah, that's I can work with that if you choose that.
The crown is going to be heavily insured, and you're going to be on the line for keeping it safe.
That's pretty good.
I was thinking a documentary crew is going to start following you around. They're doing a documentary about the people around the Butter Princess and what they do before and after meeting the Butter Princess. Just gonna make it a lot harder to steal that bust.
No matter what, doing this action, crowning the princess, another part of the small print, comes with a title of your own.
All right. Well, I think that I do like the idea of the documentary crew coming in and filming. Also, you can tie a nice neat bow on that because I think it was last year at the actual Minnesota State Fair, the woman who had been carving the butter busts for years retired. And this is the first year that they have someone new, and it's kind of like bridging that gap.
Do you want to use customer service as well?
I would, yes. And so I have 2 light.
And 1 dark.
Excellent.
A 6 light, full success. He agrees. He says, okay. And he gives you the crown. And he says, but now I won't get to be in the movie.
What movie?
And he turns and you see there's like someone filming you right now. They're like, ma'am, we're going to need you to sign this waiver, please. And they give you a waiver.
Uh-huh. Yep. Sure. You betcha.
And they're going to begin interviewing you, but maybe next ring. I want to pick up with Gordon briefly. Gordon, you have 1 shot to get an audience with the Butter Princess. All the rest of your traveling companions have earned the right, but you have not. There is yet one, and that is a milk drinking competition back at the milk machine.
Okay.
You'll be slid underneath an udder, and they'll start. It's not a real udder, it's a mechanical udder. And whoever drinks all their milk fastest will be crowned the Butter Knight. And you will be given a sword so that you can present yourself to the Butter Princess as her guardian and protector.
Yeah. I mean, I
wanna
have
do
some
it?
inner tension around this because it seems like a very like pagan ritual, and I'm not sure that I feel comfortable with
That's
that.
the part
But
that
I
seems
think
pagan.
that I sort of think about it, and I'm like, you know what? Most Christian holidays started as pagan holidays. So maybe there's a way that I can turn the milk drinking competition into um, a truly like holy event. So yeah, maybe my presence alone will infuse the power of the Lord into um, this drinking competition.
That's good. I think. Do you say this to anyone, or is this all thoughts you're keeping to yourself right now?
Oh, I'm sure that I'm sharing it to whoever is standing next to me.
The man says, "Well, all right, son. Go ahead and just lay back right here and think of the Lord." and and there's several other people slid underneath the cow, and they're getting ready to milk. And you've they're like, now you can't let any spill out on the ground. So you got to crane your neck up. You got to get your mouth right up around that thing.
None at all. No milk at all can be spilled on the ground.
And then
Is that what you're
there's a whole like conference about this. And they're like,
Mm.
and they come back and they say, none at all. Every drop.
All right. It's like they say in 1 Corinthians 3:2, I gave you milk to drink, not solid food. And I'm ready to receive this.
Indeed, you shall. Risk roll. What could go wrong here, group?
You become the patron saint of the cheese cult, and they think that you are the coming of the curd.
Yeah, I was thinking something similar, as maybe as a devil's bargain, but like because you have so much milk in your body, you become almost like this like like a saint, or like a like some kind of like living avatar, right, of some vessel by which cheese will flow. That could be a failure or a devil's bargain, I think, but I'm curious about other thoughts on failure.
A more simple failure is just that you end up, in a medical emergency, and you are trapped in the back of an ambulance as they're trying to resuscitate you or something.
This is maybe a little abstract, but there is a problem with the udder, which means this process is going to take a very long time.
Do you have a skill that's relevant here, Gordon?
Maybe bravado? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Are you like kind of like trying to intimidate your fellow competitors?
Yeah. I think that makes some sense, that I'm kind of like, I've been praying all day about this. Far more thoughts, far more prayers than any of you have put into the drinking of this milk. So you might as well just shut your mouths now, because it's all coming into me. All of that wonderful holy milk.
I love it. You got one die. Devil's bargains. I am offering mine as my bargain, which is you do get the attention of the cheese cult.
Mm.
I can't top that.
Actually, Sarah, that can be yours. I'm going to say, if you want, my devil's bargain is the goat. Much like Pat, the goat believes you are its mother because of so much milk in your body.
I definitely was going to use my what could go wrong is my devil's bargain, so that works great. You will somehow become very holy, but not in the way you intended. The cheese cult is going to think that you're a saint.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've got anything better. I've got something absolutely over the top, but I don't think it's quite right.
We haven't seen that little baby goat in a few minutes. Let's bring back the little baby goat.
You've got 2 light dice, and if you're going to use a feat of hubris, go for it. I think it might be an automatic dark die regardless, because you are going to be drinking so much milk.
Fair. I don't think the weather is going to help me here, and drawing attention isn't going to do much either. So let's just go as is.
Well, my devil's bargain involved the weather, so let me throw it out, and if you can twist it into a thing, do it.
Okay.
It was that in the moment of this competition, with everybody hooked up to a mechanical udder, lightning strikes that mechanical cow. But I don't, whatever. If you got a way to make that great, go for it.
Oh, and it electrocutes everyone else except for me for some reason. Just kind of funny in a terrible way.
I mean, I would like
sure,
to
why not?
I would like to see you bend the weather to your will. So I don't know. I think it could be fun.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Risk 2-1.
Risk 2-1. Pew-pew.
That is a fail. You do get to add a dark die and try
is-
again, though, if you want.
Yeah, we'll do that.
All right, risk 2-2.
Can't be worse than that, right? Or can it?
Hey,
Hey.
your ruin goes up, but you succeed. Describe how you use the Farmer's Almanac feat of hubris to win the competition.
I think that I haven't watched the movie in a long time, but I think as I'm doing my bravado thing, I sort of slip into Charlton Heston as Moses in the Ten Commandments. And so it, I go from the sort of all that milk's coming to me, and for you have not followed the Lord your God. He will send down the power of the heavens through this milk, and you shall be electrocuted. Smoked. That's the word that I'm going for. And yeah, I was watching the weather earlier, and I also know that there's a lightning storm that's going to be rolling through. So I'm a little bit aware of that. But yeah, I think for the sake of this adventure, I at least believe that I have brought down a plague of milk lightning on my fellow contestants. The famous 11th. Or how many plagues were there? Sorry. The famous bonus plague. We'll put it that way.
Your competitors are all injured very badly, but you still have to drink all the milk. That's a requirement. And so by the time you're done drinking the milk, somebody from the barn is bringing the goat out to you. And they say, according to scripture, a vessel of milk shall appear. The child is yours now. And they pass the goat to you.
Guess I can't argue with the scripture.
And the goat is trying to nurse, which is awkward. But nevertheless, you were also given a small sword, which is actually just a letter opener in the shape of a sword. And you can hold it high in one hand, your goat in the other hand, because you are now the Butter Knight. Henry, please describe how you become the Cheese Prince.
I think there's a lot of low, almost almost understandable chanting, and a lot of trying to steer his arm from holding the camera as they're trying to position him. They just try to push it down, and he will not. And he is to kneel on some butter, the aluminum foil butter packaging that's being shaped into bricks, and he accepts his crown, and a large butter churner is used to tap him on the shoulders and make it official.
Very good. I owe you a condition, and your condition is I think you really take this on board, this idea of being the Cheese Prince. You become like obsessed with the idea of being the Cheese Prince. This is a whole new thing for you. And what was the devil's bargain you accepted?
He will be immortalized in a meme.
Ah, very good. Pinja is recording the whole thing. He's like, well, if I can't be the Cheese Prince, at the very least, I can get him to smash that like and subscribe. And with all of you, your ticket to the Butter Princess secured. That concludes ring 3. Let's take a 5-minute break. Ring 4. Lights flicker on. The sun sets. Stamina wanes. But the fair goes on. Grandstand stage concert begins with a muted roar from the crowd. Old Play takes the stage. The smell of stale beer permeates the air. Overstimulated children pushed far past nap time collapse, howling. Those are bad children, aren't they, Daddy?
Pat, this is one of the advantages of being one of the butter people, that we can push ourselves past mortal limits, and we're not like them.
I'm glad, Daddy. I would want to die if I was like them. Old Play, famous for party standards sung in their particular style, their particular old, slow style. That's the way. Uh-huh, uh-huh. I like it. Uh-huh, uh-huh. And so forth. The Butter Knight, the crown bearer, Vu, the golem, and our Cheese Prince are all preparing to meet the Butter Princess. Per your condition, Henry, I am curious, how are you presenting as the Cheese Prince, and what role does the cult and Pinja play in this?
I have decided to spare Pinja and his crew, if only because I need a royal entourage and someone to hold the camera. So I imagine that they have all been given the creamy yellow cloaks, and we're walking through with me at the lead, obviously. with I mean, a crown would be too ostentatious, but he's got a cloak and a scepter. It's a butter churner, but
I think mothers and fathers, their thighs sticking together from sweat, their children red and overheated, blue stains from slushy on their mouths. They all approach you and kneel to touch the hem of your cheese robe as you walk amongst them. Pinja, exactly. Pinja. Dude, this is getting so many likes and retweets.
yes.
And someone approaches you, Gordon, and they touch the face of the goat reflexively. And they say, "You must defend her. You are her defender. You must defend the butter princess."
The goat is the butter princess.
No, you're the butter knight. They're just touching the goat's face.
No, I think I was asking that in character.
Oh, I see. They say, no, no, no. That is the child.
So why am I not defending the? Am I supposed to defend the child and the butter princess? Or I'm very confused about what my role is as this butter knight now.
They say, yes. And then they
All of
wander
the
off.
above.
They wander off.
Okay. I got a lot to defend.
Indeed, you do. You also have 5 ruin. And so you may want to
I
look for
do.
opportunities to betray the group soon.
That is, yeah.
Crown bearer, you have the crown. The person making the documentary says, when you were young, did you always want to be a crown bearer for the butter princess?
Well, I mean, I grew up here and, well, actually, I grew up north of here, but it was always, I mean, little
Okay, I'm
girls
going to stop
always
you right
want to be
there.
princess.
I'm going to stop you right there. We just need you to say yes and look with, eyes aglow with adulation, and then tell us how much you love the butter princess, okay? We'll start that again. When you were young, did you always want to be the crown bearer for the butter princess?
But you call yourself a documentary crew. Aren't you supposed to record what actually is happening? My best friend in high school was last year's butter princess, and
When
she
they got hit by a
died
car?
in a car crash. And I don't.
This is good. Keep rolling. This is good. That's right. It was hard. It must have been hard when your friend died like that, right? When they peeled her body off that tree.
I think of it, and it haunts my dreams.
Too bad it wasn't a maple tree. You'd be like really close to a good plate of pancakes, right? That's great. We
That's
love
the
it.
kind of thing you're going for?
People love vulnerability. That's perfect. That's really good.
Marvelous.
Yes.
Now, can you go pester somebody else for a little while?
Fine. All right. Where's the butter knight? Butter knight. They're going off to find the butter knight.
Can I clear any conditions, or do I just have conditions in this game?
Just happen. Yeah, they just happen and they
All right,
go away. Celebrate good times. Come on. Meanwhile, exactly. Takes them like 10 minutes to get through one song.
I mean, it takes Coldplay 10 minutes to get through. one
Yeah,
song.
fair enough. Eventually, old play in the background, in the distance, you all hear boom, 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 boom. The child squeezes your hand, Vu, and says, "No, it can't be. The polka parade."
Not the polka parade.
Save me,
What's a
Daddy.
polka parade?
Save me, Daddy. And he clutches your leg. Boom, boom, boom,
I
boom,
scoop up
boom,
Pat in
boom,
one
boom,
arm
boom,
and
boom,
Sonic
boom,
the Hedgehog, or what are we calling it? Sunic the Hedgehog.
Zunik the Hedgehog. Boom, 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 boom. The cheese cultists say, "Your Highness, the polka parade has arrived. We cannot help you anymore." And they turn and flee. Boom, 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 boom. Eventually, the polka parade arrives. People are desperately clamoring, clawing to get away from it, but they can't. They eventually get caught up in it, and people wearing lederhosen and pig masks pull them into the parade and force them to dance while the band leading the way plays on. Boom, 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 boom. It is a mad frenzy of dancing. People scream and yell until they are pulled in, and then they begin the dance. Boom, 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 boom. The polka parade consumes all. It is a ravenous beast. It is a monster. It is Jormungandr reborn. It is the devourer of worlds, and it is coming your way. Boom, 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 boom. Old play tries to get away, but they're too slow. Boom, 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 boom. Gordon, this would be a great time to betray the group, but the polka bros. Or you can run.
I should betray the group. How do I do it though? Oh my gosh. Subtly.
The child, the goat is tugging to
Uh-huh.
get to the polka parade. It wants to be at the polka parade. It bleats wildly.
Blah, 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 blah.
Kicking its little legs.
I can't think of a way to, I guess I'm just gonna run. I can't think of a way to.
Boom, 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 boom. You can run. Boom, 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 boom.
Oh, I'm gonna knock over a kiosk and divert the parade towards the rest of the group.
Very good. Roll reduction to see if the group notices you divert the polka parade toward them.
It was close.
Your ruin goes down. Oh, they did change the text. But it's noticed. You all see Gordon, the Butter Knight, as you're trying to make your escape, throwing down a large structure, smashing down to the ground, diverting the parade toward you while the Morning Knight and the child escape. The Morning Knight, the Butter Knight.
I'm just trying to save the baby.
Daddy, all is lost. All is lost. And
Goats don't count as babies. Only
Pinja
people.
grabs your shoulders and says, "Your Highness, Cheese Prince, what should we do?"
For now, we run, and then revenge.
Angie, you see the documentarians they scream in terror as they're caught up by the polka parade. Those that refuse to dance are trampled. Boom, 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 boom. The three of you have to try to escape. Vu, how are you going to escape? You cannot do
Gonna
battle with
blend
it.
in. This is what butter golems do. We blend in with the crowd. Me and Pat, we're gonna polka with Sonic flinging along with us. Getting
Oh,
a
you're
little,
gonna join it and try to escape later.
right? Yeah, like blend in with the crowd until it's safe to.
Very good. Angie, how are you going to escape the polka parade?
I would like to take many of my tote bags and tchotchkes, and as the musicians are umping my direction, put a tote bag in this tuba and that, and then just start to interfere with the instruments. So the people playing have to be like, oh God, and so that edge of the polka parade is contaminated and doesn't get me.
I love it. Henry, Albino Peacock, how are you going to escape the polka parade?
We're going to walk quickly and use the knaves as human shields.
Just sacrifice cheese names to them. I love it. Let's start with Vu. All right, Vu. What could go wrong here, folks, for Vu if Vu does not escape the polka parade?
The polka moves into his buttery bones, and he cannot escape it. He becomes part of it.
Dairy polka golem. That's pretty horrifying.
I was just about to say polka golem forever.
Polka golem forever. I think it could just be that. Oh, no, I'm going to save my for Devil's Bargain. I like Ben's going bad suggestion. Though. Any other thoughts for what could go wrong?
I don't have anything better.
Very well. You could be polka dancing forever, Vu. Let's talk about your dice. Do you have a relevant skill?
I do have one other thing that could go wrong is that Pat could get trampled.
Oh, I've got an idea for Pat. Don't worry about Pat.
Okay, gotcha. Relevant skill, humanity. I have seen humans polka, and
yes,
I understand how it works.
Devil's Bargains. My offer is this: Vu's real parents are in the polka parade. That's my offer.
Sorry, my real parents or Pat's?
Or I'm sorry, Pat. Yeah, Pat. Yeah.
So we haven't described Pat yet. And I think Pat turns out to be a calf child, like a little bit different than a goat child. And so you've been drawing attention all along as you walk around with like this little like calf kid acting like it's a regular child.
Daddy, we have to move. I also wanted to separate Pat. Like Pat is forever stuck in the polka parade, but perhaps it's more complicated than that. Pat now gets separated from you, but comes back around mad that you abandoned him to the polka parade. Like you were able to escape, but Pat
so no matter what, Pat is disappointed in you.
Yeah. Yes.
You realize that there are other dairy golems amongst the musicians.
Intriguing. Those are some good offers, actually. All four are pretty
Take
good.
them all.
Right. Yeah. They're all quite good, especially if Pat is actually a dairy calf and Pat's real parents are in the audience.
So there's some cows in the parade.
2 cows like, what have you done with our child?
You must choose one. Or I suppose you could reject them all in the spirit of equanimity, but
no, let me take one and maybe combine a second.
Okay.
Pat's real parents are in the audience.
Yeah.
Pat's real parents may or may not also be dairy golems.
Okay. Oh,
So
interesting.
dragging
Okay.
the mystery of am I a real human or a dairy boy?
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. All right. So let's talk about the rest of your dice. I think dark die is automatic because this is a life and limb danger. So go ahead and roll risk 2-1.
All right. 5 dark and it's the high.
Your ruin is going up. It is a success. I do think that the complication is going to be that Pat will go back with his real parents and stay in the polka parade. You will survive the polka parade, but Pat will leave you.
Survive physically, but my buttery heart is broken.
Tis indeed.
As our fingers part ways, like, Pat, no.
If you're thinking about your scene, we'll come back to it. Angie, you are stuffing tchotchkes into tubas to escape the branch of the parade that is trying to suck you in. I love it. I think that's great. What could go wrong, folks?
One of those tchotchkes gets fired out like a projectile and you get injured.
I was going to suggest that you just fail and you get drawn into the polka parade forever.
You get drawn into a tuba forever. You just fall
Void
into a
tuba.
giant tuba. Yeah. Maybe not forever, but that's where you're stuck.
I love it.
Are accordions used in polkas? I feel like they are, but I also don't know that for sure.
Sure, yeah. Well, yeah, because accordions are used in Tejano and they're kind of basically the same thing, right? So.
Yeah. Okay. So you misguidedly try to stuff a tchotchke into an accordion that happens to be a squeaky toy, and in that way that a lot of people hate accordions, they really hate an accordion that sounds like a squeaky toy. And the wrath of the crowd is focused on you because they witnessed that, like, my God, accordions were bad enough, but you put a damn squeaky toy in the thing,
They tear you apart, Handmaid's Tale style. All right, Ben, do you have any offers or any thoughts on failure?
Just a projectile tchotchke.
Let's talk dice. Oh, that's right, you already said that. Let's talk dice. Hoarding, I guess, is the skill here, right? And devil's bargains. I'm going to make my devil's bargain. No matter what, you lose the crown.
You accidentally stuff the business card of the art collector into one of the tubas, so you've lost your contact for what to do with the sculpture.
You become just the biggest polka fan.
All your neighbors will hate you forever.
I've got a half an idea that somebody like tapes a polka promotional sign on your back. The kind of come see our band at such and such with a QR code. And so people are pursuing you, trying to snap pictures of this QR code, and you have no idea that the polka promo thing is taped to your shoulders.
The equivalent of kick me, I like polka.
Right, yeah. The equivalent of kick me, I like polka with the QR code.
I like what Mike put in the chat. Ask me about polka. Boom, 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 boom. All right, you gonna take one? Boom, 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 boom.
I think that I am going to become the biggest polka fan. I think that is right on like par for where Angie's energy is. But I'm curious, as I'm doing this, I'm in panic mode. Could I also use my banshee shriek?
Oh,
that
yeah.
stops all in their tracks.
Absolutely. It sounds like a
to,
perfect
like,
use for it. Yeah.
Repel, right?
Yeah. Risk 2-1. There you go. 6 is a success. It's a dark though, so your ruin is going up. Think about how you escape, and let's get some dice on the table for Henry, the Cheese Prince. So you are going to just start sacrificing cheese names to the polka parade in order to escape. I love it. What could go wrong, group?
You lose your videographer to the crowd, and you no longer have anybody to film to crush those likes.
So you hadn't been credited for this meme that you've appeared in, and if Pinja is consumed by the polka band before he credits you and drops your handle, all of that fame will be essentially lost. You'll just be anonymous in the void of the internet.
I cannot top that. That was amazing.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. I was going to just say mine's kind of the same thing. Is that like Pinja gets lost, Pinja gets consumed by it, but it's the same effect, I think. So, dice, do you have a relevant skill?
I feel like being the cheese prince entitles me to order my knaves.
Indeed does. I like it. And for willpower, I guess. And Devil's Bargains.
I got one.
All right, what is it?
So what is caught earns you the new nickname on the social webs of the albino pocock.
Albino pocock. It's so horrible. Like, I love it. My offer is, no matter what, Pinja pledges his undying love to you.
And mine's a little different than that, but there's I don't know, let's say 2 surviving knaves who are attached to you in an unhealthy way. Like no matter what you do, they will be with you. If you're going to the bathroom and you want privacy, they are there to ensure your safety. Whatever happens, they will be on you, and it will be bad later.
As the prince, I have a responsibility to unite the kingdom of cheese and butter. So having Pinja be in love with me is troubling and problematic. So I'm going to go with that one.
Very good. Risk 2-1.
6 dark.
Ruin's going up, but you succeed. I'm going to check in with Gordon though. Gordon, you have escaped the polka parade. You and the goat have escaped the polka parade. You can hear the screams of terror and jubilation in the background. You see a member of Old Play crawling desperately on the asphalt, trying to escape, but they just get pulled in. Boom, 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 boom. Ah!
No.
Boom, 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 boom. A security guard gets off his Segway to go take a leak. Segway is there. Your noble steed will take you to the Butter Princess. Do you go?
Sure, why not?
And so your ring 4 concludes with you tallying forth on the Segway. Exactly.
A tiny little butter opener in your hand, like
your little butter, your little sword.
Baby
And your-
goat in one arm trying to,
Your noble squire, indeed, heading to the dairy barn. Meanwhile, Vu, please describe how you managed to survive, but you lose Pat.
Oh, so we're we're doing our job. We're blending in with humanity. We have convinced these polka goers that we are not animate beings made of butter, but truly humans who truly appreciate the polka. And I'm so overjoyed by that, that in a moment of great enthusiasm, I kind of do like a double twirl, like swinging Pat and the Sonic, what do we call it? Sonic the Hedgehog, in a amazing twist and turn that I thought the polka crowd would just appreciate so much. And that's when Pat's parents grab him by the ankles and pull him out of my oily grip. The grease that has served me so well has in this moment betrayed me.
And
I've
that
touched.
I think that they are dairy golems because they embrace Pat, and as they do so, milky tears begin dribbling down their ducts as they are reunited with their child. And Pat looks up at them and he says, "Mommy, Daddy." And the polka dance surrounds them and they are gone forever.
I'm just gonna stand there sullen, my own buttery tears dripping down my face as the polka swirls around me, and for me, sound just fades for a moment.
Indeed it does. Angie, please describe how you escape the polka.
So Angie is having a very violent reaction to the polka parade coming towards her, and she's hurling these tote bags, and she screams, "Jesus Christ, I love polka." And they let me pass as I have declared love for the polka. They do not feel the need to consume me. The musicians kind of clear out their instruments and they continue along.
I love it. And Henry, I'll take Pinja, but describe how you otherwise escape the polka parade.
Defend me, knaves. And I say that as I just grab a couple by their cloaks and just kind of drag them in front of me. And to the rest of you, this way. And he'll move at a very dignified shuffle.
When it's all said and done, you can feel Pinja taking your hand and giving it an affectionate squeeze. The traitor, Gordon, you see him in the distance, riding a Segway into the dairy barn, the one who would have fed you to the polka parade in order to achieve his ends. There is time yet. So concludes Ring 4. I'll see you in 5 minutes. Ring 5. Desperation in the dairy building. The fireworks finale begins. Darkness punctuated with bursts of light and sound that will provide cover for the big butter heist. Gordon, the dairy building is sadly nondescript. Just vaguely textured concrete painted a pale, crumbling yellow. It doesn't seem a palace fit for royalty, frankly. And yet, inside it is a magnificent temple to dairy products. Inside the dairy building, a horseshoe-shaped arc of glass-doored refrigerators are filled with a stunning array of milk, cheese, butter, and a row of nearly identical butter busts. 11 of them, in fact. Let's paint the scene, everyone. How is this place a temple to the dairy gods?
The kind of individual coolers and windowed freezers that make up this horseshoe of dairy products is arranged in a very particular way. And you see that there are Roman numerals plaqued on each and that it seems as if there is some larger meaning to the arrangement of this dairy.
Around the perimeter of the room, there are like ionic columns, but it's all cheese wheels and sculpted cheese.
The light sources up above are fleshy chandeliers that are udders with directional teats that give spotlights to the various sculptures.
That's just really gross. There's sort of like a pyramid on the ground in the middle. It's probably what, like 3 feet high or so, and the top is like cut off or at least removed. And there's just kind of like, it's like a vat of just kind of like boiling or bubbling like butter inside of that.
I love it. Gordon, at the center of this arc of 11 butter busts is the 12th butter bust. Its tiara is missing, but its prominence in the display makes you think this is the final bust. This is the 12th butter princess bust, the bust of the winner. You intend to summon the spirit of butter to this earthly plane by sacrificing the butter bust on your home altar. Your competition is not here. You are there with the goat. What do you do?
I'm gonna sort of Raiders of the Lost Ark this and swap the bust with the baby.
I like it. Very good. Meanwhile, what are the three of you doing?
After narrowly avoiding the polka parade and humming to herself in a little bit of an oompa as she moves now, Angie would go towards the butter busts and go towards the dairy, trying to at last finally steal this bust for her collector and hopefully be able to smuggle it out in a cooler that she has in her bag that has been full of cheese but expands out enough that she might be able to keep the bust cold as she makes off with it. It's the plan, but got to get to the dairy building.
Indeed. Vu.
I am going to clear the remnants of this polka crowd by using my feat of hubris weave to pass through congested spaces with ease. I'm gonna kind of oily, slithery slide my way through, make use of my skill at corners, and almost like a slug leaving a trail through the garden. I'm going to leave a trail to this final path where I can prove my love to this butter princess.
I love it. I don't need you to roll, but because of that ritual or feat of hubris, I will let you arrive next after Gordon. Henry, Pinja turns you around and he says, Your Highness, Cheese Prince, we don't have to do this. You don't need the butter princess. We have each other.
And I wish I could say that our
You smashed
45-minute
like on my
breakup
heart.
Our breakup video will be epic, but until then, I need to do this. Don't be cringe.
And he lets go of your hand. And he just withdraws into the crowd, leaving you to your solo quest. Gordon, you are trying to swap out the child with the bust. You'll notice now that there's an inky black pit on the other side of the bust. And you hear a voice echoing up from the pit. There is no need for you to practice duplicity, Butter Knight. Give the child to me and take your reward freely.
God, is that you? It's me, Gordon.
Sure, the voice says. Lower the child into the pit.
Sure. uh, I suppose that makes sense.
And the goat just floats down into the pit of its own accord. And you hear the voice saying, yes, come. We are finally reunited. It has been so long. And you just hear, bah, 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 in the darkness. Take your buttery totem and be gone, Butter Knight.
Okay. I guess if that's all that we're doing here, everything's chill.
Do you take the bus?
For sure. Yeah.
Right at that time, Vu, you arrive to see Gordon holding the butter bust. What do you do?
So if there's a thing I know about humans, they're warm-blooded. And you try and hold 90 pounds of butter in your hands, it's gonna get real slippery. You're gonna need a segue to get out of here with that thing.
Mhm.
So without Gordon seeing me, I'm gonna sabotage his segue. I'm gonna break one of the little U joints so it just goes in circles if he tries to take it.
I love it. That's great. I think that's probably a it's a reduction
Attempted
roll.
a reduction roll.
Reduction
right?
roll. Yeah, it's a
I might
reduction roll.
find ruin, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Do a reduction.
Oh.
6.
Gordon, you come upon Vu tampering with the Segway. Just as he tampered with the mechanical bull. What do you do?
Just can't keep your hands off the machines, can you?
What? It was you had a nail in the tire and I was just trying to patch that up for you.
Angie, you come upon the scene with Vu and Gordon arguing, and Gordon with the butter bust in his arms. What do you do?
I wait for this plane to pass overhead. I would like to diffuse this situation with some customer service. I just want to be, you can't have that out yet. We have to crown her. You should put that back. And honestly, I don't think that you should be holding it. You're kind of mushing her nose a little bit. So yeah, maybe you should put that back. Yes. And I'm hoping that I might be able to talk to them long enough that the cheese coat will arrive and start to influence the situation in ceremony.
Maybe. Cheese
All
Prince. Right. Cheese Prince, you come upon the three of them arguing over the butter bust. What do you do?
I think I'll raise my scepter and say, knaves, Seize the interlopers.
Very good. And with all that said, I think this is a 4-way contest roll to see who ends up with the Butter Princess sculpture, who escapes with it, thereby getting one step closer to satisfying their drive. The rules work as they did before. You get 1 light die if you have a relevant skill. You get, let me just pull it up. I can't remember now. Scroll.
Another light die for each point of ruin.
Yep, another light die for each point of ruin. And then a dark die if the contest itself is inherently deadly or dangerous. I actually don't think it is necessarily, unless someone does something dangerous. Maybe the cheese.
I'm about to make it dangerous. This is my moment.
Very good. And then you take as many additional dark dice as you are willing to risk. This is it. Who wants the butter sculpture the most among the 4 of you?
So as I apply my skill in mechanics, I'm gonna try and turn this Segway into a weapon, like pop a wheelie and just try and like knock people out of my way.
Use it like a flail.
Like a scooter turned into a flail. Like, you know, turn it on, stomp on I don't even know if they have a gas pedal, honestly, the throttle, whatever the hell they've got, and be like.
Indeed. Let's build these die pools if everyone's doing it. What's your skill, Vu? Mechanics, I guess. That makes sense.
Yeah, mechanics.
Do you have I guess willpower is your skill, right, Henry?
Willpower or insight.
Insight as well. Oh yeah, insight. That'd be great. Angie, do you have relevant skill here?
Vigilance.
Oh, okay, I'll
I'd
take it.
slap fight my way out of this.
Yeah, I'll take it. Gordon, what's your skill?
So I've decided I'm gonna hold the bust above my head and sing a buttery praise and worship song cover of Coldplay inspired by Old Play.
I love it. That's very good. So is that wail or exhortation?
A mix of both, I guess.
Okay,
but
I'll
yeah,
take it.
exhortation is kind of what I was like
I'll take
leaning
it.
toward.
You got 1 light die, everybody. And then you can take another light die for each point of ruin you have. It looks like everyone is equal. No, it's not true. Henry has 5. Everyone else has 4. I think it's dangerous now that there's a wild Segway flailing around. And so you all have 1 dark die and then as many dark dice as you are going to risk. Additionally.
Is this like a blind bag type of thing where we have to decide?
Well,
and then
I
reveal?
think everybody should type the number in chat, and at 3, 2, 1, we'll hit enter to see how many you're going to risk.
Number of dark dice, right?
Yeah, the number of extra dark dice.
Oh, I just typed mine in the roller and I figured we could all hit enter at the same time to roll simultaneously.
Oh, that'll work as well. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And just don't change just set up the rolls and go.
Okay.
Yeah.
For contest, you still type risk, right?
Well, so basically, yeah, it's still, yeah, because it's just a risk, however many. For most of you, it's 5 something. Then, but for Henry, it's 6 something.
Got it. I'm ready.
I'm ready.
All right, let's get these
Awesome.
rolls. All right, let's take a look here. We're looking for 6s. Angie has 2 6s. Henry only has 1 6.
And Vu, really?
Vu
Who
got
has a 0 and 2?
Vu has
How did you
0.
do that?
Vu has 0 and Gordon has 3. Gordon is the winner. Also, Gordon didn't get any 1s on the dark dice either. Vu, you did. You got 2 dark 1s.
Who's going down?
You are going down. Yeah. Okay. So Vu is lost to the Minnesota State Fair. But narrate your victory, Gordon.
Look to the Lord. Look how he shines for you. and all the things you moo. It was all butter. And I just kind of continue. That's the only part that I know. So I just keep on, like, it starts really quiet. It's kind of like the slow clap at the end of a movie. Like it just starts out really weak. And then I just start getting into it. I'm like, yeah, look to the Lord. Look how he shines for you. And it was all butter. And then everybody starts singing along just instinctually, because the exhortation is so strong. And as everyone is just like jamming out to this awesome old play cover, I slip out the back.
I love it. We'll pick up with you again in epilogue. Everybody else, a firework has gone astray, and the state fair is presently going up in flames. Tents, people, there's screaming as fire breaks out. To make matters worse, there is something rising up out of the pit behind where the 12th butter statue was. You hear a terrible guttural bleating from the pit. Bah, 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 as something rises up. What are the three of you doing? Vu, you're lost at the state fair.
I've got a great explanation for my loss if you're ready for it.
Let's do it.
So I kicked up this Segway, ramped it up to 11, trying to spin it like a weird flail to fend off the butter knaves and fight my way towards the butter princess to prove my love. And it turns out I am in fact made out of butter. And in that way that a soft serve ice cream cone gets that twist, my torso twists until I just lose physical integrity and my clothing collapses and a buttery mass just goes across the floor and the Segway goes skittering off.
Angie, what do you do?
Well, Angie is not a fan of God or old play and is still going after Gordon for this butter. Can't quite get the princess and is chasing him out the back, maybe through the display of other busts before this thing starts rising out of the pit. Angie is trying to stuff a different bust, number 7, into her bag, so she has at least something. It's not really going to know the difference, and starts to try and flee.
I love it. Henry, the cheese cult, presses in around you and they say, "The princess awaits. Cheese prince, you must go and be wed."
Yeah, totally. I'm right there. But let's just get this other one and just get it to the ride real quick. And you there? Can you find Pinja? We got to get that call out going.
Pinja steps. They bring Pinja forth, and Pinja says, "Cheese prince, you have to go. If you're going to save all of us, you have to go and present yourself to the butter princess." Bah, bah.
Yeah, definitely. Can you just hold this camera and just keep me in frame? It's streaming though. Don't shake it too much.
And they do, and then what?
While I do this, can you just get that one wrapped up in the poncho for the ride? Yeah, I'll be right
I
back.
see. I think you will get a glimpse of the butter princess as she rises up out of the pit. I won't describe it, but I will make you roll ruin. You're holding it
good.
together. People are screaming. Tents are burning down. hot, sizzling butter is flying all over the place, scalding people. And a terrible, deep bleating is coming from the dairy barn. The man in the fedora stands outside the dairy barn and says, "We did our best, but our best wasn't good enough. Oh well, there's always next year." And that concludes Ring 5. Let's epilogue. Little scene, just how we see your character at the end, any point in the future. Vu, since you're no longer with us, you can describe how your absence is felt, or maybe something with Pat. I don't know. It's up to you. But
I
in
got,
any
I
case,
got something a little sillier.
yeah, that's fine.
There's sort of a separating slick of butter all over the floor of the dairy barn. But in the midst of this separating slick is this just bedraggled Sonic the Hedgehog doll. And we see one of its eyes kind of flicker and go very, very yellow.
Nice. I love it. Who wants to epilogue next?
We see Angie in her apartment some months later. Not much changed. It's cold, it's winter now, but you see that lined up along every bit of space in a very strange and surreal hoarding situation. Memorabilia from state fairs from last year, the year before, 20 years ago, and it's all arranged by decade in clockwise around her, and she's just touching things and compulsively rearranging things and slowly muttering to herself as she waits for next year.
I think on YouTube, if you search for albino peacock, you see just dozens of reaction videos to albino peacock and Pinja's social experiment gone weird. And then if you scroll down far enough, you see albino peacock 430 subscribers.
And then we see snowy wooded scene, and we see Gordon in a parka, like trudging through the snow up to this little like one room cabin on the top of a hill. And he walks inside and he kind of like passes like hanging guitars and instruments and that type of thing into this room where there's all of these candles set up in a ring. And we kind of like pan up and we see the butter bust and we see goat horns on it. And we see Gordon fall down in front of the butter princess bust, which is now the baby goat bust, and say, "Please, please forgive me. I know not what I have done." And then cut to black. Or butter. Cut to butter. Yellow.
Cut to butter. Butter princess. Awesome. Let's do stars and wishes for the whole thing. I'll start today. I have actually I have a star for something that happened in the chat, which was, I didn't see it because I went on break, but as Pinja squeezes Henry's hand, Henry gently whispers, "No homo." I fucking died when I read that. That was very funny. I really loved. I really also enjoyed Henry's just the way you embody the sort of like internet influencer culture. I thought that was really great, Ben. Like like you said, stop being so cringe. Just stuff like that was really great. Loved all, yeah, I just had a great time. It was really, really fun. I enjoyed the yeah, a lot of it. There's a lot to really like here. The whole thing with Vu and Pat, um, just naming the kid Pat was amazing. Really loved that. Loved the whole interaction between the documentary crew, even though it was brief. It was fun to do that with Angie. Really dug the sort of like religious characterization of everything that Mike was doing, especially with the milk contest and all the stuff at the end. So yeah, just really had a good time with all that. Yeah, and yeah, it was just fun. I had fun with old play. That was one of those great moments because I didn't, that's not something I anticipated at the beginning of the session, but then like now it's a thing, and so that was fun to play with. Yeah. Oh, and the polka parade was fun to do as well.
Star for the polka parade being just, I mean, that was terrifying. That was one of the scariest things I've experienced in a role-playing game. So that was great. Also, star for just really embracing Gordon and just singing, right? That was great. Also just, yeah, going right in on Vu's being a creature of butter. I'm glad we finally got that answer. And also Pat, obviously, star for Pat. I really enjoyed that you got to use your Banshee Scream, and you did it in such just a great, like, white lady way. And it was just, this was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed getting Trophy Dark, but with this tone. It was definitely a different experience, and it was great.
I'll go next. I do have huge stars for the tone. The amount of camp that you can kind of fold into the horror was a lot of fun to roleplay. I embraced my best white lady. Thank you. I tried to say Jesus Christ as clearly as possible because I just needed to lean into that pun.
Yeah.
Star for the polka parade is the devourer of worlds. Jason, amazing. I also have a star for don't be cringe. That was really great. But also you smashed the likes of my heart. Like, very cute. The two of you going back and forth is amazing. I have another star for the bonus plague line. It was a lot of like that cute like milk lightning moment of like, I can't quit bonus plague. I think that there was a lot more wordplay for us to play with because of the surrealist kind of campy way we were playing the tone. And having Jason's deep religious horror on top of this was also a lot of fun to play around with. And I had too much fun. Just cut to butter.
Yeah, star for cut to butter.
Okay. I figured let you go last since it's your thing. So I know it's a weird star for like the mechanics of the game, but like we did do everything, I think, and like that was like really cool to see in the scope of like a Trophy Dark thing. A lot of times it like leans one way or the other and that type of thing, but I think like pretty much everybody used all of their like strengths and that type of thing. So I think it was like really strong from like a role-playing aspect, and like even Jason just kind of like driving where the roles were. We got to see a little bit of everything, and so that's a lot of fun to just like see the entire system kind of like unfurl like that. And yeah, like just kind of like seconding all of the things that have been said about like just the really fun like clash of different tones between like the influencer culture and the Midwestern like kitsch and yeah, the Gothic stuff as well. Like it just all sort of like was this like oversized, indulgent butter blob of all kinds of different things, and it was just really enjoyable.
I like how
so yeah.
I like how like butter almost became like this. It became almost like this stand-in for like some kind of like supernatural like force or ectoplasm or like, you know, like almost like a Lovecraftian like energy or monstrosity. I thought that was really great. I just really enjoyed that. Yeah. Like it was butter
It's
that was
funny how-
powering all this.
Yeah, it's funny how it's everything. Like it is blood and it is oil and it is magic and it is like all of like it is just like butter is everything, which is
It just
really
congeals
fun.
into one idea.
Yeah.
Oh, bonus star for Are You There, God? It's me, Gordon.
Yes.
Felt so bad about that one. Oh, and then yeah, a definite star for sure. Which is just great for the thing that you think is God to just say, sure.
Awesome. Sarah, I loved the fake crying that, you know, like the weepy, weepy, weepy. And then is that what you're going for to the film crew? It was a great turn on a dime. And the turn on a dime almost against your 5 cents on all the silent auctions. That was delightful. The cheese knave, for me the play on the word of cheese knife, cheese knave was brilliant, and then it became a thing. Like cheese knaves were in our last 2 rings, and then Ben saying silence knave was fantastic, honestly. What else? Oh, Ben, you had the notion of putting a poncho over the butter sculpture, and I feel like I need to go write short fiction about somebody trying to preserve a block of butter with their poncho, even though they're like almost like oh my goodness, I'm blanking on his name. Sarah, you like the author? Lived in California. The thing about the matches and the snow falling on him. His shack is in Oakland. It's going to come to me later. Famous American author, but has written some kind of like survival horror.
Oh, is it Jack London?
Jack London, thank you.
Oh, okay.
The poncho over the butter princess, like I'm picturing a Jack London story where like the butter's protected by the poncho and Jack London's over there, like, you know, quaking to death, dying of frostbite or something, but the poncho's keeping that butter safe. What else? Oh, Jason, you talked about seed art as iconography in a temple. And like last session, you said you didn't even know what seed art is, but you kind of nailed what it is at the state fair. Like it's a temple. I will go there this summer and get you some photos, because the building is kind of a hexagon with the seed art inside of this chamber. So I'll try to like do it justice somehow to show you like how much you nailed what reality is.
Well,
there.
when the module said, or the excursion said, in ring 3, I guess it is, or maybe it was 4, and I think it was ring 3, where it says that the history of Minnesota is depicted in the seed art. That made me think of like frescoes on the on the wall, you know, like ancient frescoes. It's kind of, that's where my brain went.
That's fabulous. Mike, old play. I've played this Butter Princess 4 times, and the band's always funny, but the band has never become a character in the way that it did here. So Old Play had a hell of a lot of great mileage, and that vision of the member of Old Play, you know, crawling in the polka,
Being dragged into the polka thing.
No. And what else? Oh, the Plague of Milk Lightning. Like I think you need to make a T-shirt with that. It's like a new version of White Lightning or Greased Lightning, Milk Lightning. I don't know.
Like I described it as a bonus plague.
I felt like we were watching a butter golem origin story. You're literally drinking all the milk you can, and then you're struck with lightning, and now you're Frankenstein's curd.
My dairy product life.
Fabulous.
Oh, also, one last star. There was a moment where Vu, after you guys had tampered with the bull rides, that you were riding the bull to victory and you were just melting from the friction underneath. That was marvelously done.
Thanks. So many good moments. I don't know if wishes really make any sense in this context of being done with the excursion, but I will say that I would like to know like what happens to Pat and Pat's family. I'm curious, like, are they just forever caught up in the polka parade? I am curious about the polka parade. Is this just a terrible entity that just keeps going forever? You know, like what happens? Like, I like to imagine the polka parade kept going in the middle of the state fair burning down. I think that makes the most sense. There's lots of things implied to be happening in the background, which I thought was really great. Who was the man in the fedora? That kind of thing. So yeah. Any other stars or
There's
wishes?
a more tangible wish that's a plug is Kickstarter campaign is launching
Yes.
shortly. Print
Very
edition is
good,
coming
very
out.
good.
So
I will update the YouTube videos with the links and stuff whenever you have them. So fabulous. Any other stars or wishes?
I guess one other wish is that I would love to see more quote unquote excursions with this kind of like tone and sort of like pseudo real world setting or modern day setting. I think it's really fun and it
Really
works
fun,
really well
yeah.
with the trophy dark. Yeah, I'd love to see more of that explored.
Yeah, it'd be really fun. Fantastic. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.